Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we take a look at a really interesting deck I've been tinkering with, and that is Post Rotation Ceruledge. Obviously Ceruledge since rotation hasn't really been seeing the light of day, and well, I figured why not give it a try and make this deck a bit more viable post rotation. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links. Double the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and the outro, what I think of the deck. So, Ceruledge is a real, it's a really good deck before rotation, but it lost a lot. Like, it didn't lose any, attackers and things like that. But, yeah. We've lost Earth Vessel, Professor's Research, Charcadet EX, Mew EX for a little bit of extra draw and obviously consistency. That you don't have to play Mew in it, obviously, back then, but you could. But Ceruledge has lost quite a lot. And obviously Ceruledge is all about going fast. So I thought, why not we try something a little bit more different? So what I've decided to do today is we're playing Energy Search Pro. Typically we'd be playing Legacy Energy, but there's a good reason why we're doing this. Because ideally we can go for, Energy Search Pro, grab all the different energies. And then what we can do is we can also grab a Carmine. Now, what you're thinking, how are we grabbing these? Well, short answer, Noctowl. We're a Tera Pokemon after all, with, 4-3 line of Ceruledge. And, well, we also get, obviously, Hoothoot, but we also get access to Fan Rotom as an early attacker whilst we're setting up. And, well, Assault Landing is pretty good as an attack. Obviously, we do need a Stadium in play. But, you know what? This has been a pretty fun list to make. Obviously, we don't have any stadiums in this list. That's the only thing about Fan Rotom. But a lot of the time, we're going to be relying on Ceruledge. And to be honest, it's a pretty solid idea what we've got here. Now, I might try this with the Rocks version. Like, increasing the fighting count so we can obviously have extra draw. Decrease the fire count slightly and still keep, the Energy Search Pro as part of the idea. But honestly, I think this is going to be a pretty fun one. So, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. This has been a really interesting variant to test. I did base this off a couple of content creators' ideas. But the one that stood out to me the most was by Avatar Clash, because that's where I originally got this list from. Obviously, I've made a couple of changes and a few upgrades in here and there. But you know what? This is a really creative idea, and that's kind of why I wanted to cover it. Now, my criticism of the Charcadet will continue to stand. I personally think we need to be playing the Will-O-Wisp one. I believe it is. That's the attack. However, given this is post-rotation, I actually think this is the correct Charcadet now. Badoo isn't nearly as common as you might think, and, Charcadet's Chop obviously isn't going to get any knockouts, but Gather Strength can help us grab some fires, which obviously we can do with Firebreather, which we can also grow off of Noctowl. But what it means is we could potentially go for a couple of fires off of this, obviously after attaching a fire, and then we can go for a Carmine not long after. That's pretty solid. Obviously we're only playing a 2-2 line of the Hoothoot Noctowl. I added in a few other cards to obviously help us out. I added in Quad Boss because, well, we're not always going to be hitting the highest numbers, so bossing 2 prizes is probably going to be our best bet, not taking on 3 prizes. We obviously do have a high count of energy in the deck, but, we're playing 18 energy, which, if we do get there, obviously we do need 17 and then obviously 1 on the Ceruledge, we would be doing 370 damage, but the chances are of getting all the energy in the bin very low, to say the least. So we need to obviously be bossing targets that we want. So that's why I've decided to go the Quad Boss route. But anyway, so we have 4 Charcadets, 3 Ceruledge, 2 Hoothoots, 2 Noctowls, 2 Fan Rotoms, 1 Fez, 4 Carmine, 4 Boss, 2 Firebreather, 2 Harlequin, 4 Ultra Balls, 4 Body Poffins, 4 Night Stretchers, 1 Blowtorch. I've not actually used this card. But it's a pretty cool card, so we can only use it if we discard a basic Fire Energy card from our hand. We can discard a Pokemon Tool, Special Energy, or a Stadium in play. It's not bad at all, and it's pretty useful to have. And, well, if the opponent has a really nice Stadium, like, for example, Neutralization Zone, we can get rid of it. Because, obviously, we don't play a Stadium, which is Probably something I would say we need in this list, but even though Neutralization Zone isn't that common, but, you know. Then, of course, our A-Spec Energy Search Pro, 1 Tera Orb so we can get Ceruledge for free, 1 Air Balloon for a little bit of pivot, because we do kind of need something to pivot with, 10 Fire, 2 Fighting, 1 Metal, 1 Psychic, 1 Lightning, 1 Dark, 1 Grass, and 1 Water. This has been a pretty fun one. Like, I don't think this is going to be, like, a top deck anytime soon. I think Ceruledge just lost too much to be, you know, a idea in that regard. Like, a deck that we can consider a decent threat to the meta. I think Ceruledge is going to be relegated to the, well, as I would, well, my dad puts it in football. Well, no, it's football. Yeah, football he uses it for. Ceruledge is what's now going to be known as a bench warmer. In other words, if we get more support, we'll take him off the bench. But if we don't, we're going to keep him on a bench, and he's going to be paid to just do nothing. So, yeah, Ceruledge at least gets to live the easy life for now. But I do like Ceruledge as a concept, as a, you know, a deck and everything. But I think we just need a little bit more support coming for it in order to make it, you know, a bit better. Excuse me. Anywho, let's get into a match. See how we do. And welcome to our first game. I've not really done too much testing with this Ceruledge deck. Like I said, I based it off of Avatar Clash's Ceruledge list, so I'll leave a link to a video in the description below. It's a really creative idea, and I think this is a pretty solid idea. It's just, as I said, I don't think this is going to be meta. Now, you could obviously try, like, obviously Moltres as a single prize attacker, because obviously it only takes 1 energy, just like the Ceruledge, but I don't really think that was appropriate to put in just now, but you never know, in future we could use that. And looks like we have a mulligan. They're going to be very surprised to see this in a mulligan. Just the one, that's fine. We don't actually play all that many basics, so that's just something to bear in mind. But yeah, we are going second, so Carmine's use first is not going to get much value, and this is Dragapult, so we need 15 energy in the discard pile to knock this guy out. That's a lot to ask for. But hopefully, you know, attach, gather strength, obviously after we Carmine, that might just work in our favour. But given this is Pult, I'm not looking forward to this matchup, but, well, who realistically is looking forward to facing Pult? They're grabbing a Dracloak early, interestingly enough. I think they're grabbing double. What if I had Disruption? This just seems like a bit of a waste, but, you know, that's just me thinking about it. But, and they do get an energy down. I didn't think they would, but surely you'd attach to one on the bench in case I had, like, Salvatore, but well, apparently not. So we're just going to attach. I'll go for a Carmine. Okay, that's not a lot, I will say. I can Ultra Ball and get a Fan. Get rid of the Fez, because I'll need the no, not you. I'll need the Firebreather next turn. So then we'll Fan Call. We only have 1 Noctowl available, but we can still do this. So I'll bench these 2, and then we will gather strength, but I won't grab fires because we're going to get them out the deck anyway. I'll grab double fighting. I think that's pretty reasonable. They're not really doing a huge amount, so I'm pretty happy to do that. Obviously, the only thing I want to do next turn is to set up another Charcadet, because at the minute we're not, you know, we're not exactly threatening them with like Fan Rotom and stuff. But they are a triple evolving their Dracloaks, which is good for us. They're grabbing Dusclops plus a Psychic. Are they going to go aggressive and Dracloak me? Because that would be funny, and there's not a lot I can do about it. But that would be funny. They could. That's if they see the line, but they could. Another Recon. Okay, that's fine. They are going to do the funny play. Alright, that is an issue. Because like I said, we didn't get another Charcadet established, which is a major issue for us. And Fan Rotom, as good as Fan Rotom is, we ain't stopping anything when it comes to that. Well, that just rubs salt in the wound, doesn't it? So we'll grab 2 Charcadets. I can't exactly attack, but I can at least, you know, put an energy on the fan. Because what I can do then is, if this is knocked out by Dracloak, well, it's going to be a pull. We know it's going to be a pull. Pull plus Curse Blast, so that's going to be fun. What we can at least do is we can at least, you know, get an extra energy in the discard pile and go from there. But yeah, this is looking pretty shocking, to say the least. I mean, it's not every day we get knocked out by Dragon Headbutt, now is it? But, you know, he saw the line, and to be honest, I don't blame him. You know, I would do the same. It's the best thing to do in this situation. You know, you've only got a 70 HP Pokemon threatening you. Crispin, okay, so we're playing the supporter now. I was expecting a boss, I'll be honest. I mean, he could still, you know, cause me some havoc, but he's got a double attach. Does he have the Pult? Of course he does. Yeah. And there's the Dust Noir. Lovely. So you're gonna blow up the active Fan Rotom and make me choose between... No, you're just gonna do that. Fair enough. Yeah, this is not looking good in the slightest. You know, we're doing like 150 damage, I think. They're going to put 5 on the Charcadet and 1 on the other. Well, logic decrees, I give you this one. Okay, that's a good top deck. So we'll go into the Ceruledge. Evolve the Noctowl, and we'll use Dual Seeker. So, what I actually want to do is I want to grab Energy Search Pro and... no, not you. Tera Orb. Because how many energy do we have in here? We have 5 energy available in here. But then again, if I grab Ultra Ball... then again, no, if I grab... this is quite tricky to decide. Because like I say, I could just take an Ultra Ball, but then I'm not getting value. This is the thing, like, because we don't have access to, you know... I'm going to take Carmine. I think it's safer to take Carmine, because then I can do this. Thin these out the deck. Then I can Carmine. Perfect, that evolves that, so that's protected. So we've got 11 energy in the discard pile, so we're doing 250 right now. Yep, I thought it was. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Abyssal Flames for 250. Obviously, they already have 2 Pults established, pretty much, because this is pretty much ready to go. So unless we start, you know, setting up for, you know, multi-prize knockouts, well, I say multi-prize, unless we're taking out Pults in 1 hit from now on, we are going to have it very rough going forward. But you know what? This is actually working somewhat. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, that's fine. You know, there's even a world in, like, we could play Crispin to obviously, you know, get Raging Amethyst going if we can't, you know, do any more damage. But, you know, it's just something to think about. I have a feeling, however, we are going to be taking a big fat smack from not only Pult, but we're also losing that Hoothoot, I suspect. Because he could Clops the active now, then Phantom Dust... well, he can Dust Noir this, Clops this, Phantom Dive this, put the rest on the Ceruledge. He could do that. But obviously the risk is, you know, if I play like Harlequin and he can't find anything, that's if we can find our Harlequins, but, you know. This is just proving that Pull is, even after rotation, still insane. But to be fair, Pult Noir is like, it's really good anyway. Let's see what they do, because, like I say, that's probably what I would do, you know. You are obviously giving me 2 prize cards, but you're basically reducing me to nothing. So, you know, is that the option he goes for? Obviously, we've already evolved this turn. Because, like I say, you can Noir this, Clops this. He's got a Clops. Let's see what he does. Yeah, so he's Clops in the active. That's fair enough. So we'll take a prize card from that. Not a very useful one. Then, like I say, you can Noir the Hoothoot. No, he's just going to Phantom Dive. okay. Not the line I thought he'd go, I'll be honest. But to be fair, he still sets up this for a KO next turn. So even if I answer this Pult now, you know, I just lose. So, you know, we just lose because of that. And, well, I'm not going to waste anyone's time. I'm just going to Fire Breather, thin these out the deck. Because why not? Ultra Ball 2 away. Just thin this out. It doesn't really matter. We're doing 310. We'd be 1 energy short. So, yeah, I'm just going to swing. If he has second Pult, which I very much don't doubt, we lose. I mean, on the plus side, there's one of our Harlequins. On the plus side, we have put up an okay fight, you know, but I wouldn't really go that far. Show me the Pult. Yep, there it is. There's the Pult. And Phantom died for game. He doesn't even have to spread his counters in a smart way. So, yeah, that is unfortunately a game against Pult. But sadly, that is just what happens when, you know, an archetype that's meant to be turbo loses a lot of its turbo. But you know what? I think it did alright in that first game. It could have done better, obviously. But you know what? I'll take that for a first game. Let's go to a game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That went actually okay, you know. I don't think that went too badly. You know, like, to say this deck has lost a lot of steam, I actually think it did okay. Like, my only, obviously, criticism is, obviously, you know, I think, you know, the energy discarding is a little bit awkward, because, obviously, if you're wanting maximum value, you obviously go Fire Breather plus Carmine, but you can't play 2 supporters in the same turn. But, you know what? Like I say, I'll take it. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, we start the Fez. That's fine. Sorry, Van's just pulled up outside. I didn't recognise the van, that's all. I was just having a quick nosy. And Zoroark. Alright, this shouldn't be too bad at all. This should not be too bad at all. And is it an attached pass? No, it's a Buddy-Buddy Poffin as well. So this is actually relatively okay. I mean, you know, we do have... Oh, Cape. That makes things difficult. And the Mochis do as well, because Mochi means it can one-shot us. Okay. This could be tricky. Alright, so... We'll Ultra Ball away these 2. Grab ourselves... I mean, it's probably safer to just grab a Fan, because then I can set up stuff. I've prized a Hoot, which does affect my decision making here. I'm going to grab a Charcadet. Fetch Charcadet, attach, Harlequin. Let's see what we get off the Harlequin if we get a heads. Which we do. Excellent. Alright, that's pretty good. We'll go for the Body Poffin. Now I can grab the Fan Rotom that I just mentioned. So we'll Fan Call. No, not you. Take these 2. We'll save the Blowtorch for later. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't recognise the vehicle that's just pulled up outside my house. It's a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. I've not seen that vehicle before. It's fine. I'm sure it's just someone making a delivery. It looks like a minibus, however. When you're around vehicles a lot in your life, you tend to notice these things, but still. Like I say, the fact that we can Blowtorch their Hero's Cape away is going to make things a lot easier for us, because if they evolve into Zoroark this turn, we will actually be in a really good position. They're bidding Brock Scouting? That feels kind of rough. Same with the Janine. The Janine is really key. Unless your last card in hand is Dark Energy, and even then you're doing a scratch for 20. Or unless your card's like, oh, Judge. Judge is fair enough. Well, that's fine, we can cherry pick that thingamabob later. It's not a big deal. There's trade. I mean, like I said, the Judge doesn't really bother us because like we're not really doing a lot anyway at this early stage. But if we top deck Carmine, we'll be in business. And he whiffs the energy. Good. Well, there's Ceruledge. Excellent. So, we only have 2 energy to discard power, but I can get aggressive and, you know, I can take that Zoroark with the thingy on it, and I think I might just do that. So Abyssal Flames Ignite, you take this out. Because what this means is there's Zekrom, unless, well, if they copy Zekrom, they need Black Belt's training. That's the thing. If we can take advantage of that, and, you know, stop him from, you know, having extra draw, we can now just go 1-2-2-1 as our prize map. So I'm not particularly worried. So, you know, not really worried. And yeah, that van is leaving. I don't know if you'll hear the reversing alarm on it, because I can through my headphones. But yeah, this is not too bad at all. I mean, like I said, they're gonna get a Fez now, which is good for them. There's Fez, so they can Fez for 3. Of course, they can trade as well. Fez for 3 first. Yeah, fair enough. Like I say, we will be able to get Blowtorch back, so I'm not too worried about them having this Hero's Cape. If anything, if we hit 280, and we can, you know, we can actually get a knockout, well, if we can get 280 damage on it, and then obviously we Blowtorch the Hero's Cape, we then take 2 prize cards, and they have to promote something like Zekrom in order to already give us 1 prize card. But then that would be a multi-prize turn because of them using Cape. I have got a couple of Zoroark lists converted to Post Rotation, so don't worry about that. There will probably be a Zoroark video at some point. Well, another one anyway. I did obviously do End Zoroark before. Well, I did it when Zekrom came out. But even then, he's getting rid of the PP. That's not good. You don't want to get rid of your PP. He's got the energy, so he can copy Rampage and Thunder. Ends Castle. That's fine. We don't play stadiums, I don't really care. You can have all the free retreat you like. He has the black belt. Okay, that makes things more difficult. But that we can deal with. Don't go Ceruledge. Yeah, that black belt find makes things a bit trickier, but we do have Fez. Okay, never mind. That does help. So let's go for the flip the script. Firebreather Harlequin. Okay. Well, I need another Charcadet in case he has another black belt, which no, my luck he probably does. As much as I really want to play some of these cards, I think I need to play Energy Search Pro, but just for a fire. But that feels kind of bad. So I think I play it safe and play Harlequin because I can get these later if I need them. I think I play Harlequin and then hopefully draw into a fire. Only 3 though. There's a low chance. Okay, we got it. So how much we're doing? 110. Okay. Well, I mean, like I say, I can just hit this now and then we can 2-shot it later. But obviously if he has another damage mod or a Monkey Dory, we are in big trouble. So that's just something we need to bear in mind. I'm just going to hit for 110. We're not really, you know, doing a lot there, but hopefully we can redeem ourselves shortly. Obviously, Energy Search Pro is just like a big way of us getting a lot more damage on the board, but you know, you can start to see where I'm coming to the conclusion that this deck is just too slow for what, you know, Ceruledge is supposed to be. But obviously, they need another damage mod, which I don't know if they're playing. I would assume they're playing double black belt. I mean, I would. But, you know, that's just something to think about. If they do have double black belt, we're in trouble, to put it simply. There's another Zorua. Okay, that's fine. They're going to go for a trade. Tool Scrapper, that's fine. They're very teched, I will say. They are quite teched for, you know, their matchups and stuff, which isn't a bad thing, you know. Zoroark's very consistent. They could try and cut off my engine by taking out one of Hoothoot's. Like, they could do that if they find Darumaka. But obviously, remember, they did use Rampaging Thunder, so unless they have an E-switch, they're not attacking, which is good for us. But we need, obviously, Noctowl in order to, you know, do something. Because I'm just trying to think, would Noctowl for Energy Search Pro plus Carmine get us there? Get us over the edge? I don't think it does, because obviously we would need to discard the fire using Blowtorch, because Blowtorch only takes fire energy. I'm not sure. He could free retreat into a single prizer, but then that just makes my prize map a lot easier. So I don't know. Let's see what he does. He has a few options here, but I don't think he's going to take them. He is retreating. And he's going to give me that Zoroark. Does he have Energy Switch? Because if he doesn't, you're giving me a Zoroark with less HP than your current one. Well, actually, no. This has 10 more HP, so it's actually relevant. And no, they've whiffed. So let's see what we get off the top. Tera Orb. Well, that's still something. We do get to thin the deck. And do I attach this? Because if this goes down, it's an extra energy in the discard pile. I might as well. And yeah, we'll just Abyssal Flames. Obviously, we're not really doing a lot of damage, but, well, that Judge did actually kind of hurt us. I wasn't expecting Judge to be this much of an issue. I'm not sure why they're pulling an emote, because I can't really do a lot here, mate. Yeah, I don't know what my opponent's really doing. Like, they're not really doing anything. Like, you know, if they knock me out, they give me Fez value, but they're just sitting there, you know? Like, I could only hit you for 110. You know, I can't do anything right now. You need a black belt, and you need it now. Because if he manages to black belt this Ceruledge, we are in serious trouble. And it's heavily unlikely we're going to win this game. There's a PP. This does mean, though, because he's bringing the Zoroark with the Hero's Cape on it, that does make our job a little bit easier. He could grab Darmanitan now if he wants, because he could hit the Ceruledge for 90 and then take out one of the Hoots, but I think he's going to do that. I think he's whiffed, which should, but yeah, I don't know what my opponent's doing, I'll be brutally honest with you. We need this Blowtorch, though, so if we top deck Carmine, we literally cannot use it, because we need it. They're going to attach the Zero on the bench. Are they going to do anything else? They're going to boss. Take out a Fez. That's annoying. Yeah, we probably just don't win this game from here, because all they need now is, if we don't find Noctowl, and even then we need to find double Noctowl, we just lose to a Flame Body Cannon. So we need a miracle off the top here. But I wasn't expecting this deck to win much, is all I'll say. So, you know, I wanted to try it, because it was an interesting concept, but yeah, we're not winning this game, I don't think. Well, there's Carmine, but I think at this point I have to use it. And I Carmine into 2 boss and 2 Carmine. You literally cannot ask for anything worse. I mean, hold on, does that 130, 150? Yeah, that literally doesn't matter. We're just going to concede and go to a game 3. 0 for 2 with Ceruledge Post Rotation is kind of what I was expecting, I'll be brutally honest. This deck's just lost too much, and, you know, I've obviously tried with, you know, Clash's List, but, well, a variation of Clash's List, but, yeah, I think this deck is just too slow. Let's go to game 3. And welcome back to game 3. Like I said, I'm not surprised that this deck is not winning games. I just think it's too slow, especially with, you know, how the post-rotation format's become. And obviously it's a lot more focused on, you know, aggro and, you know, weakness is another thing. Obviously I've mentioned this before, that weakness is such prevalence in this current format. And obviously Ceruledge is nice and all, but it only does fire damage. And, you know, with the format being a lot more weakness heavy, we are kind of struggling. So a Charcadet start we will definitely take. I'm not going to bench the Hoothoot yet, because Poison Donk is effectively dead, so I don't need to worry about that. That, however, is a Baneri. So we're facing some sort of mega more Lopunny deck. Let's see, we've got a Buddy Poffin. For a Staryu, okay. This could even be my list for all I know. Well, I'm not seeing any Dusknoirs, so, you know. But yeah, this is an interesting one, isn't it? I'd laugh if it is my list, but I don't think it is, because they would have benched us, well, Dusks, but anyway. Right, so I want to get rid of these energies, so I will Carmine, because I need a fire. We do not get the fire. Great. I mean, I can just attach, it's not a big deal. I can just retreat it later, but yeah, that is, that's not good, because we've only got one Charcadet. And that's a Mega Starmie, which means we are definitely getting bonked in the face. And that's a Team Rocket's Watchtower, so we are also getting bonked in the face. That's also a Hilda, so we are 100% getting bonked in the face. Yeah. This is the sort of turbo deck you want. Because immediately he's taken out our only Charcadet, and he's putting 50 on the Hoot. Yeah, that's what an aggro deck should be. This just isn't an aggro deck, but, well, that was kind of obvious when you saw the title of the video being Ceruledge Post Rotation. I will play it out, but yeah, this is shocking. I have to Harlequin here because, you know, I'm maybe giving them extra cards, but I need to see more cards. And we get heads. We get a few decent cards here. No, we don't. I will attach this. Do I want to Night Stretcher back that Charcadet? Probably not. I will, however, grab a Hoot, because I am going to need it. I will actually grab Fez first, though, because I could thin ball with Fez. Obviously, Fez is under threat from Nebula Beam, but I'm taking this risk. And it was not worth it. Can I afford to lose a boss? Yes, I can, but I don't really want to. And even if we do, they hit us for water weakness, and they can just bring up this big fella. And, well, we need, like I said, I believe we need, is it 14? Yeah, 14 energy in the discard pile, and we have a grand total of 4. So if we scribble on a 1, maybe they won't notice. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, but you know. I mean, on the plus side, if we do manage to get this turn going, we could potentially take out the Starmie this turn, but the chances of that with no Noctowl access is very, very, very low. And even then, we have Watchtower. So, yeah. That's just the one thing, really. Watchtower just completely screws us. I mean, I'm happy for this Hoothoot to go down, but yeah, this is not looking good. I mean, if we can take out 2-3 prize Pokemon, we will be in business. But yeah, he's just going to hit the one with the energy on it. Not like it... Well, in fact, no, it does matter, because that means now he can knock it out with Mega Starmie's Jetting Blow. Yeah, this is not going well now, is it? But anyway, let's flip the script. Okay, we could potentially set up a Hoot then. So that's good. Problem is, though, we're not really doing a whole lot afterwards. So how many energy do we have in there? So we're doing 110. Is that relevant? It would be, actually. So if I do that, I attach here. I mean, I could boss the Frostlass, but I think it's a waste of time. Because, you know, they're probably playing some sort of switch. But Mega Starmie is the biggest threat by far here. So yeah, I'm just going to hit it for 110. Not really a lot I can do here, folks, unfortunately. And the worst part is even if I get my hand down to a 3-card hand, Mega Frost still one-shots us because of weakness. Even with a full HP Ceruledge. So I need to have 2 cards left in hand whenever Mega Frostlass attacks. But what that also means is I cannot take prize cards because of said issue there. Because if I take prize cards, I then obviously lose to being bonked by Mega Frostlass for weakness. So, yeah, this is what an aggro deck should be. But, well, we're not playing one, we're playing a slow deck. And there's another Mega Starmie. Then maybe the prize there of a Mega Lopunny, but I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, I do want to do a variant of, you know, Mega Starmie and Mega Frostlass, but I don't know if I'd add the bunny, but still. And there we go. A big fat smack. So like I said, even if we take prize cards here, we just lose, because, you know. Alright, well I might as well play this, because I'm going to try and hand thin, but there's no guarantee here. So let's go for the Night Stretcher. I mean, I could take out the Frostlass, but I'd need a lot here, folks, and, you know, I'd need a lot. Does that... No, I can't boss anything. And then again, I could Energy Search Pro. We could be potentially doing something. Because I could Tera Orb my... Oh, I didn't... I've just realised I misplayed there. That's fine. I don't care at this point. I cannot win this matchup. Yeah, my opponent even laughed at that, no doubt. I'll be honest, to my opponent, I was never going to win that, even if I did the, you know, the Noctowl into the Ceruledge and stuff like that. We was never winning that matchup, you know. Water Weakness is, you know, a pain as it is for Ceruledge. But when you're facing a matchup that is just infinitely better than you at being a turbo deck, and most importantly, hits harder, because obviously it does have, you know, spread damage, it has the damage of Frostlass. Yeah, this was not fun, and I don't know if it's come across in my voice, but yeah. So, what did I think to the deck? I easily think that Ceruledge, until, you know, more support comes out for it, yeah, my brain hurts from playing this deck, because, like I say, I remember Ceruledge being fast, you know, like, it was a fast deck. You could, obviously, you know, get bonking, you know, Dragapults, Charizards, etc. when, obviously, it was before rotation. You could get there, don't get me wrong, you most definitely could. But the fact that, obviously, now we have so little discard, a lot of our, you know, search for energy cards is supporter-based. I simply cannot recommend playing this deck. It's just too slow for the meta. It's not suitable for the meta. And, you know, it's just one of these cards that, because of rotation, it's effectively dead. I think Ceruledge is basically dead. You know, we did get to do some damage against Zoroark, but that was few and far between. But yeah, I simply cannot advise playing this deck. It's just far too slow. If you want to be playing an aggro deck, play Mega Starmie with Frostlass Munkidori or the Dusknoir package, doesn't really matter what, and you'll be much better off, you know. Like, even if I'd have knocked out that Starmie, I'd have just been bonked on the head by Frostlass because I took too many prize cards, you know. It's a lose-lose situation no matter what you do, and that is effectively what the issue is with this deck. It's just far too slow, and there's so many better aggro decks out there. I mean, even Bolt is doing better without Sada, and Sada was such a key piece to that deck, but Bolt is still doing somewhat well, so that just tells you it. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing Ceruledge post-rotation, even though it did lose all 3 games, which is rare for a deck I showcase, but, well, I kind of just wanted to show the truth, and to be honest, I had been asked to look at Ceruledge post-rotation. I'm regretting my life choices after doing so, but still, at least that's one less deck for me to worry about. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today, and I'll see you next time.